Well, hello. Welcome to my world. It is Saturdays, and we are getting ready for the sauna. Come on in. My name is Colleen, and if you're still up, come on in. It is Saturdays getting ready, and today was the most beautiful day. Today, I was with my best friend, and it is something I cannot wait to share. Probably one of a special day, a day that I wished, um, just come on in. You know, I have a best friend. She's 18, and today she had called me earlier this week, and she had asked me if I would come to take one last picture with her for her high school year for her prom. Oh, I hope I can do this. Anyway, her name is Olivia Trepanier, and I met her as I stumbled into kindergarten. And I want to tell you, she is in the book, and I am an author. I have written a book. It's on its third edit. It's sitting in New Jersey with my lovely editor who has been with my mother and I. And I lost my mother 10 months ago, and now she has lost her father. And so we are going to give her for as long as she needs. So I am proceeding ahead with my play and the children's books and my pigeons and launching the pre-launch, and I'm so glad to have you here. I am coaching with my mission to introduce my digital home for my future grandkids. I have been living on purpose ever since I was given a year to live almost 18 years ago. And I have a little boy that is now 21, and I am so glad with that study drugs and surgeries I had and fighting as hard as I did, because when I made it to kindergarten, I was in a hallway with all the women that had their kindergartners there. And I looked down one aisle and down the other aisle, and there she was, the mother that I just dreamed I would meet. And her name is Sean. And I don't know if you recall my other videos, but I am from New York, Mills, and I have been dreaming of New York all my life. And this woman, it's like she stepped right out of New York. And I had one question for her, and it's in the book. This this video is about Olivia, but she answered the question properly. And when the little boys came out of the kindergarten classroom, here it was, my son and hers, neck and neck. And it was like her little boy came up to me, and I'll never forget it. And as I said to her, you know, obviously we hit it off. She said, I have to wait for my little girl. She's just 2.5 years old, but she's coming down the hall. And I looked over, and there she was, my Livia. She had long pigtails and high top tennis shoes, and she came bounce, bounce, bounce down the hall. And it was like just seeing a little tiny me. She just had such liveliness to her. And when she came down, it was like, there she is. That is my person. And I immediately, upon inspection from down yonder, I said, would you like to come over? And that was that. So off they came to my brand new little peace house, the nun's house, and they came over just like that. It was our very first play date at our very first home. And they came in, and that's how I met my Livia. And it was like we were just Mutt and Jeff, yin and yang, since that moment on. And as we journeyed through those first years, she ended up in first grade, and she had an assignment, and her assignment was to pick her very best friend and to put the best friend on the wall. Well, little did I know that she was drawing this picture of me, And Sean called me up. She says, Colleen, she says, all the kids, she talked just like a New Yorker, and I can't do it justice. I just can't do it justice. You just have to someday know Sean. And by this time, we had spent 3, 4 years together, and it was just, you just have to. I'm saving a special video for Club 33 for my Sean. Don't even get me started. But anyway, my Olivia put on the wall this picture down the hallway of the Perm grade school of me. My best friend is Colleen. Yes, she did. And I've never been called anyone's best friend because everybody had somebody, but nobody had picked me. I had hundreds of best friends, but nobody picked me for their best friend. I was just Colleen. You know, I was everybody's friend, but I was really never anybody's best friend. And I have an issue with that until I met Livia. And I am Olivia's best friend. Therefore, she is my very, very best friend. So with that, nobody else is my best friend except my Olivia. And until somebody calls me their best friend and claims me and puts me on the wall of a school, that's it. Livia is my best friend forever. So I just love her. So that is my Olivia. And I just want to tell you that today was so special. I spent the whole week picking out the outfit. Went to my house, plowed through this size, I don't know, when you're on chemo drugs for as long as I am, you have been from a size 6 up to a size 22. So I don't know what size I'm at now, but those jeans now fit me. And as only Livia would know, I would find the coolest outfit in my mind, and I would wear that for her. So we had the best time. So let me just tell you how important today was. When I went there, she had asked me on the phone, which is my favorite color. And I said, well, now, honey girl, as you know, probably red would be my favorite color. However, mother's is probably blue. Well, Sean called up and she says, Colleen, she's going to go with the red. And I said, well, of course she is. But then Livia knows how much I love my mother. I get there today, and the reason why I have been crying all afternoon is because what does Olivia pick? She picked the blue. Now this is what I'm saying about this kid. I mean, she's just not anybody. She is Liv. And does that blue dress, if you go down the wall of the Facebook page, look at the blue dress. She was so beautiful in that blue dress. And then if you look down low, she has the pink shoes. So this is what I'm saying about her heart. Her heart is as big as Montana. And well, she's just a beautiful soul. And did I tell you how good she is in sports? And beautiful. So I just love her. And then I met Finn, and I looked him square in the eye. And did I tell you he's a Division I football player at NDSU? And he's gorgeous. Well, I'm telling you, he's just, and his name is Finn. I'm from New York Mills, where there are Finlanders. So already I love him more. And he is kind. He is, and he loves her, and he loves her mother. So, and he does not like texting. So I moved him up 3 more notches. So I can't tell you how much I love that kid. Lastly, when I saw his shoes, the high top blue tennis shoes, it's over. And then I met her 14 friends. There was 12 friends there. I interviewed them. They were outstanding. And then as I gathered them all around, and I asked them to please, as they go off to college, promise me that they will not become minimalist, and to conserve and save and protect those outfits. And I asked the girls, will you promise me one thing? will you promise me to dress up throughout their young life? I said, guys, what do you think about that? And they all said, yes, tell them, Colleen. And the girls kind of like, well, we will dress up. I said, well, dress up, please. I said, you can wear the hoodies once in a while, gray, like Rocky. I said, but, dress up because, it's proper to dress up more often than not. I said, the jeans and the sweats and the pajama bottoms once in a while, but dress up. Or not, but dress up. And the guys are like, yeah, that's great. That's a great idea. We like that when they dress up. You see? Somebody has to suggest these things. And then I asked Finn, I said, Finn, that beautiful, beautiful pink velvet suit, will you save that forever? And he says, you know what? I even have last year's suit and I don't plan on ever getting rid of it. I said, that's so great. So this is a kind of fun. There is nothing better in life than a young person. Have you ever met a bad kid? Ever? I mean, every single one that I meet. There is not a bad kid in this universe. Between them and the old people, I tell you, I don't know who I like better. So this is what I mean about today. It was probably, it's life-giving. So, I got to tell you though about the middle-aged people. And I do, we have a lot of work to do. This is why I'm telling you, we have to live on purpose. My Sean, Liv's mother, when the kids were in kindergarten, Adam and Dawson, we were like, what should we wear for Halloween when we pick up the kids? I said, Sean, you are so beautiful. And Jean-Guy, her husband, I'm telling you, he is a rock star. And he's the kindest husband. And I said, Sean, you are so beautiful. You have got to go as Jeannie C. Riley from Harper Valley PTA. Did I tell you she loves country music? And oh my gosh, can she dance? Did I say she loves Elvis? Anyway, it's one of my, 26 things that a person has to like. Anyway, she got dressed up and went as Jeannie C. Riley. I don't think the women in our town talked to her for 6 weeks. The next year, she came up with a persona for Halloween, and her name is Rita Miller. And I'm telling you, she went for Halloween. I'm going to introduce you to Rita Miller. She has no fang teeth. I mean, not fang. There is a fang. I'll tell you about. It's in the book. Anyway, she has you'll have to just meet her. She wears a kerchief, well, a house coat, because I'm trying to, just pay homage to Sean. And you'll just have to meet her. And when she went as Rita Miller, all the women just loved her because she was ugly. But my Sean is beautiful, probably the prettiest woman in Perm. Well, not as pretty as Liv. Anyway, I just love her, except for her white shoes. Okay, we won't talk about Sean's shoes. I'm still working on that. But getting back to my Liv, lastly, I want to just say that tonight, Dawson and Adam are still two of the best friends. And Sean and John have raised two amazing young people. And Liv will always be my best friend. And that little girl and Dawson, when they were my first play dates, it was Livia and Dawson who became my first play, and Adam. When I did my plays, Sean and John would leave, go do their work, and they were my play dates. They became my characters in my plays. And when Sean and John would come and pick up the kids, they would sit on the couch and we would have our performances. And Livia just entered into her role with perfection. Dawson, he was set direction. Adam and Livia just entertained the audience. It was fantastic. We had a circus. And I will never forget those days. And Sean and John were the best audience. Today I gave Olivia a key and a feather, and I told her she was in the book. And I will never, ever, ever replace Olivia wherever she goes and grows. And she had those big pigtails with big ideas, and yet she is fresh and new. That sparkle in her eye today I know she's a trailblazer and non-traditional. She had a love of candy. That's why I gave her those jelly beans today. She is fresh and new. Sports? Yes, she loves sports. And yet her imagination leads her to be up to date, and she was red hot. Being a homemaker, she loved to be home. Yet she is contemporary and currently exploring all new things. She has a love of all things family. And she, of all the people, when I was at home with mother the last month, and it was like the last 4 hours of my mother's life, and then it was the last 4 hours after my mother's life, and then it was the last hour after I let Greg Carvenin take my mother away. It was Sean that I called. And then it was the last 30 minutes after I hung up the phone with her that Sean came over with food. And then it was the first 3 minutes of my mother's wake. It was Olivia and Sean that came. And then after Dawson got done with work and my son was taken back to Minneapolis, it was Dawson who ended the night at my home after the funeral. So this is the kind of family that Sean raised and Jean raised. So yeah, they are visionaries and Olivia is progressive, but her kindness and her heart and soul, she's an original. She's a diamond, but she is avant-garde. Thank you tonight for letting me share my very, very best friend. Becoming a preservationist is my lifelong dream of being able to share people like this forever on my digital home. And tonight, I want to thank you for letting me share somebody that's been with me on my preservation journey of being able to celebrate my history. And I know with Olivia, she will always include me in her creating more. And tonight I got to meet Finn, and I think he is fantastic. And I know with Sean tomorrow we'll be crying, we'll be nestled up with our house coats, and we'll be able to say a prayer, her and I, and we'll be able to praise God and say hallelujah, because that's who she is. She's authentic and she's avant-garde, even with the hoodie and the white shoes. I love her. And thank you for being with me. And this podcast or this live stream is obviously for those who dare. Be avant-garde, be rare, and remember me and remember my Olivia. But thank you for being here tonight, and get ready for your special people. Those young people, there's not a bad one in the bunch. If you listen to them and if you challenge them, and most likely they will never forget you. And I know my Olivia will never forget me. Thank you for tonight.